You're listening to Mix Off Air with Duffy Moon, Amber Kay, Camper Kyle, and Kelsey Lorenz.
Wow.
And now, you probably don't care, but...
Duffy didn't do his homework.
What? It just said you probably don't care. So why'd you even bring that up, Amber? You're like that one at school. You're like the one at school.
Yes,
like,
I am.
Hey, he's leaning backwards on his chair. He's going to fall and hit his head.
Oh, man, that kid.
Yes, Kelsey Lorenz, you're right.
As an adult, I now cringe at the fact, but when I was in high school, I used to tell the coach when people weren't using the proper form lifting weights.
Oh, golly. Yep.
You know what's funny?
You were that kid.
Well,
Not surprising.
I needed them to be at their best before the
Yeah.
team, and they're slacking off.
I just want to point out that there's a very patient man married to her
There you go.
He's a really nice guy.
and two very patient children who call her mama.
Well, they could get hurt themselves.
Actually, they come home and tell me whenever people aren't doing what they're supposed to
There you
Little
go.
mini-me's.
Camper Kyle wasn't holding the hedgehog right.
do. And sometimes I have
seriously.
to text their teachers to let them know that, other kids looked at their paper.
Yeah.
Or,
I know teachers love that too. They love it. They love it. Love
if
it.
they need to. I had to text the bus driver the other day to ask her to please move my son somewhere else because the children next to him keep fighting and he doesn't want to deal with it.
I agree with that.
Hi, everybody. It's the Mixed Mornings crew here.
Does the last 2 minutes of conversation surprise anybody?
No.
No.
That's you.
No.
Makes perfect sense.
Standards for certain things,
Yep.
and I think that when people aren't held to certain standards,
Absolutely.
then society crumbles.
Yeah. I'm just really excited
Word.
that you guys invited me back on to an episode of the podcast.
Yeah,
It's
man.
been half a minute since y'all have had me here in the room
You know,
with you.
funny enough, we actually do invite you every time. And it's always, I'll be right up. And then we're up here for about an hour.
Yeah,
and
the
then-
last time I didn't show up, you guys went and got a rodent.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well, you know,
Kill talk
Yeah,
into
our-
the mic.
Hedgehog.
you got to perform better, Duffy. You lost the bet. This is what happens.
Yeah, that's
If I had $1
exactly.
for every time I heard that,
Heard what? I missed
I'd have
it.
$1.50.
He needs to perform better.
There you go, Kelsey. There you go.
He's a performer.
No, he needs to perform better.
Just move on. If you have to explain the joke, it's
I
no
didn't-
longer a joke.
I was looking at what we're going to talk about, and I didn't hear. But no, so there was an article that
Kind of
came
goes
out.
hand in hand with what we're about to talk about, actually.
Yeah.
Hand in hand.
That's the second time she's said that today. So an article came out about Kayla Cuoco. She was on Big Bang Theory because she got married about 2 years ago, and her husband still don't live together. And so they were doing some kind of interview, and they were talking about it. And they said that initially it was because they were building, their dream home, and so they were waiting to both move into that.
That makes sense, yeah.
Kind of. They could have still lived together and just not moved all their stuff, just stayed at
possible.
one or the other's place.
Yeah, but I would imagine they're probably work on different sides of the world half the time. He's an actor too, isn't he, or something?
I think he's just a no one.
No, he's an equestrian.
What? He's a horse guy?
He's a horse guy.
A no one.
they-
I'm just kidding.
They actually bonded over their love of horses
And dogs.
Okay.
and dogs. Yeah. But so anyhow, then their dream home got finished, and they still haven't moved in. And so now he's living there, but she still hasn't moved in. But she said she thinks March or April will probably be the month she moves in.
Commitment issues for Kaylee Cuoco, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Well, so so it brought it up all of the other famous people who are married who don't actually live together. So Gwyneth Paltrow and her new husband.
That doesn't surprise
That
me not at all.
me either. Gwyneth seems like kind of high maintenance. I'm
She-
gonna be real.
She's a weirdo, man. That whole goop thing that she did, and
And that candle.
Have you watched the documentary she has for it?
No, I
No.
don't like her. I just refuse to
yeah, and then she ruined the whole Iron Man thing.
Huh?
I don't know.
well, see-
That's the only movie I can think of she was in.
Well, see, Robert Downey Jr. said that he would come back. If because they're thinking of maybe
Yeah.
reviving him.
If Pepper Potts was in
If
it.
she would come back,
Yeah.
and so
I mean, I
she
don't-
had said she moved on, and so if she doesn't come back, then I guess
Guess what? If the money's right, she'll be back.
Right.
Well, unless Goop takes off.
Yeah.
So they live together 4 days a week and then apart 3 days a week.
Yeah,
they have two different houses.
Again, just depending. I mean, you get to a certain level of celebrity where you own 8 homes and you're probably traveling a bunch. She's probably shooting movies or whatever she's doing, or, doing those, buttercream facials or whatever it is she does, and, that kind of stuff. And so she probably travels a bunch.
No, they
makes
have
sense.
houses, I think, on the same road, and they chose to do that for their kids. So that their kids didn't have to, it has to do with custody.
If what you just said was the case, Duffy Moon, then that seems reasonable. But I was reading, and I don't remember which couple it was, but it was like there was something about, it just actually makes us more pleasant. We're not around each other all the time. And I'm reading that, I'm going, what? Who do you marry if you don't want to be with them? I don't know.
If you need a 3-day break every week from your spouse, you might have picked the wrong spouse.
You might have chosen poorly.
Well, Helena Bonham Carter and Tim Burton, they never lived together, and they were married for 13 years.
This one surprised me. I'm going to be real.
Yeah, they said that their relationship was enhanced by knowing they had personal space to retreat to.
I will tell you.
How much personal space do you need, though?
You've never been married, Kelsey.
See, and that actually made, I've been in a relationship for 3 years, and we did live with each other. I know.
In sin?
Yeah.
In sin. But I get why they were apart, because living with Maverick was probably... It made or broke us.
And now he lives in Kentucky or something.
Kansas, yeah. So I kind of understand. I love him, but I'm okay with having a separate bathroom.
That's fair enough.
That's fair.
The whole time I was growing up, I always thought it was a little bit weird. 2 of my aunts and uncles, or sets of aunts and uncles, actually lived apart. My Aunt Marge and Uncle Willie lived apart, but they were still married. And then it was Aunt Jo and Uncle Leon. Same thing. They lived in North Jersey, and he had a little apartment. He was a police chief or something, and he had a little apartment, and then she had the house, and, he would go over there all the time. They always have dinner together.
Still
and
a
stuff.
couple.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because I was gonna say, some people just stay married, but they're actually not married.
Yeah.
'Cause they just don't want to go through all the.
Well, there may have
steps.
been other things going on that I didn't know about.
Yeah.
It's not like we were super close or anything, but.
Well, Helena Bonham Carter said it's not enforced intimacy; it's chosen, which is quite flattering if you can afford it. So I can
Right.
afford it.
Right,
you can afford 2 houses.
Yeah.
And then Tilda Swinton and her ex-husband still live together.
This one rubbed me. This one I did not like.
Yeah, so they've lived together, I guess, for years after their divorce, but he's with someone else and she's with someone else.
That's weird.
It's all very weird.
That one's weird.
They said it was for the sake of the kids.
Do they all throw their keys in a bowl when they get home from
That's
work?
what I think.
That kind of thing.
But I don't think the people they're with live there.
Yeah.
No.
It's just them because they stayed together for the kid, or stayed living together for the kids.
I think the kids would be so confused.
Yeah, kids are very intuitive. They really are. Children are intuitive, and they know. They know if mom and dad are having problems and whatnot. They can sense that sort of thing, and you may think that you're... But sometimes, it's my belief, sometimes you're actually doing more harm than good if it's a miserable situation. And everybody would be happier if you're living in different houses.
But that's what they're saying, is that now they're just friends and they're still a family, but
That's still weird.
Not romantic.
If you've been intimate with someone, if you've had that intimate relationship with somebody, that's always there. That doesn't go away just because you're not together any longer. There's still that history.
Yeah.
And that's just weird. So now you're new.
Unless you just weren't ever in love with them in the first place.
Yeah.
And you were just like...
Yeah, but it's still there. You still, you've still seen that person in their most...
birthday season.
But but what I'm saying, in their most vulnerable state.
Maybe.
Right? No matter how you look at it. And so now you're with some other woman or some other man or whatever, and but you're still living with that person. If I'm the other woman or the other man, I'm not happy with that at all.
Yeah.
And I'm not even as a guy, I'm not even a jealous or like an untrustworthy guy, but that'd still bother me up the wall.
I am what the heck is crazy. I would lose it.
Maverick, you'll lose an eye. Let me just tell you.
I can't even.
I will throw a hedgehog at you.
I will.
Oh gosh, that would actually be pretty painful, wouldn't it?
I'll do it.
Those hedgehogs are prickly. See, what I think about this, me, being this wise 23-year-old, but I'm a pretty traditional kind of guy, right? I'm a pretty
Here, okay.
Huh?
I'm gonna let you finish.
I'm gonna let you finish, but thanks, Kanye. Yeah. All right, Taylor Swift.
All right.
Finish up what you were saying.
Thanks. I'll be the man here. It's a Taylor Swift joke. So
If he had $1 for every time he heard that, he'd have enough to buy a house. All right, sorry. You walked into that. To be fair, you did walk into that. All right, that's what we call a throwback in the business. All right, go ahead. Sorry. You're a pretty conservative guy for 23.
Old-fashioned.
yeah, and so the way I see the marriage vow,
Square.
He still says things like, "I've got lots of moxie, pal."
No, he says,
things like that.
I don't court her because she wears too revealing of clothes.
well, you would say I wouldn't court her.
Oh, sorry.
I was sitting comfortably on the Davenport watching the television. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
I don't see what's so bad about it. So when I read the marriage vows, right, it's like, in sickness and health forever.
Have you read them? Are you preparing?
Fine. When
He's like,
regularly? You didn't say past tense. You said, her. Like,
when
can I read them?
Yeah.
he's like, I'm gonna let you finish, Pastor, but I got this.
Poor Camper Kyle's on a first date. So I like the Boy Scouts. I like camping. And if you look, I've already written my wedding vows. All right.
1 Corinthians 4:13.
My thought was like 30 seconds long.
Love is patient. Love is kind.
I'm very patient. Let me tell you.
Okay, but when you read, you read them?
This ring is a circle, and it represents everlasting love that never ends. It's everlasting. Sorry. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
That's the starting to his vows. He practices them sometimes in the studio.
Just kidding.
Kyle, I'm just waiting.
I know,
Yes,
Amber, you're being so nice right now.
I'm sorry,
What's going
I'm sorry.
on?
What do you mean, what's going on?
I get some attitude when I have a hedgehog, man.
So listen, Hedgie the Hedgehog, I'm gonna practice these vows on you. I want you to shake your head up and down if you like them, left and right if you don't.
Kelsey is currently holding a hedgehog.
Yeah, sorry.
Where all
Keep
that
bringing
came
it up.
from.
Okay, let me rephrase.
Okay, you're a conservative guy. You're
When
23.
you heard
When I've heard wedding vows recited, or the vow, right? What is it called?
The
Traditional,
know.
whatever.
Yeah,
It's the wedding vows.
It's
yeah.
in sickness and health, hard times, good times, whatever. You are together, and so I always feel like it's not supposed to be 100% awesome. There's supposed to be a challenge to it. It's supposed to be hard.
Ugh.
It's supposed to be
100.
But you're going through life together, and so I don't get why you would, unless of course you're traveling a lot and you're rich and you got a lot of houses and you're all around the country. That makes sense. But if you're doing it because you want your personal space, and I'm using air quotes, I don't know. I don't get it. I
Well,
don't get it.
specifically, if you want your personal space 3 days a week, every week, then
But it's also a cultural thing because back in, I don't remember when it was, but the women, they all lived together in their teepee hut thing, and the men all lived together. And the women had their own it was a matriarchal society.
Yeah.
So when the women were kind of in charge, they chose to live separate from the men.
imagine that. I think there are some women, my wife included, it's not such a terrible idea.
Yeah. So, and then you've got the polygamists, they live separately because the man
and they're nuts.
takes turns going, to the houses. It's just it's a cultural thing. I don't know. I haven't researched it too much, but I'm wondering if in all countries they live together like we do here.
Yeah.
You know?
To me, being a libertarian-minded person, I don't care what people do with their lives as long as it doesn't hurt other people or take their stuff. So I don't care if that's how you live your life. It is a cultural thing. Me personally, I just don't get it.
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
Have you lived with someone, man?
Yeah.
Not Zane.
Oh.
I'm saying
Not saying your buddy.
Yeah, that was rough.
I literally, oh man. When a man can't find the trash can, let me tell you.
No.
Oh, but see, I'm really picky about
Throw your stuff away,
but see,
Mike.
I'm really clean though,
sorry.
so it's okay.
Kelsey, what were you going to say whenever you told Kyle, I'll let you finish?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought you were gonna start. I was just gonna say, have you lived with someone? Because sometimes, see, I get mad, but I also am very needy. So I'll be mad, but I need you to know I'm mad, and I need you to sit next to me
Yeah.
And you're very intuitive, or not intuitive. What's the word?
Self-aware.
What's the word that we're always trying to say?
Self-aware.
But it means self-aware.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Self-conscious, self-aware.
I will say that it would appear that we took a stick and we beat the heck out of the wasp's nest when it comes to Kelsey Lorenz on this topic, because she has already gritted her teeth at least 4 times in our direction. I will tell you to find the stinking trash can.
But in all seriousness, I do love Maverick, and he's going to actually be, or he's going to be a commercial pilot where they work like 4 days on, 3 days off. So he'd be gone for 4 days and then back for 3 days. I think that would be the perfect living situation.
Yeah.
And we talked about this earlier,
Well,
and
there
I
you
said
go.
until you have children,
See,
and then
I
for
don't-
3 of those days or 4 of those days, you're home alone with the kids. He's off gallivanting, traveling around.
He's off working and providing. He's not
and-
gallivanting.
I'm kind of with Kyle on that one. Automatically, you say, well, he's just out there gallivanting.
Drinking in the bar.
Yeah, that's
hanging out
right.
with the stewardess.
Flying around the country,
Working.
or
He's
overseas, and
making
then
thousands
you
of
have
dollars.
layovers. You go to restaurants.
Maybe
You're
I'll
with
just-
other adults.
I'll just get a farm of hedgehogs instead of.
I
If
think
you're a stay-at-home mom,
Amber.
anything is considered gallivanting if you're with other
but to be
adults.
fair, I'm going to give you the other side of that, because I don't think that's fair. I really don't. The reality is, if he's out doing that, that's a job. He's out doing that job. And
working.
the reality is, you don't give guys credit in that situation, or whoever that person is in that situation. You don't give them credit for the loneliness that comes with being in that situation. I know guys that literally travel for work. They're traveling salesmen and all that. They're gone 2-3 days a week, sometimes a week at a time. They'll tell you it is the most miserable job in the world because they're away from their family.
Yeah.
And you're in your scenario there, you're not giving them credit for, you just think, well, hell, I'm away from the family. I'm drinking, I'm smoking, I'm eating, all this kind of stuff. And the reality is, I can tell you from firsthand experience, for a lot of people, that's an awful job. You're away from your kids. You're away from your wife. You're away from the everyday routine. You're away from home-cooked meals. You're away from all of that.
I hope Mike
It's-
takes it that way.
after the first 3 to 4 years of that, it really gets old.
Duffy, I am feeling you right now, and I really appreciate
No,
you.
it is true.
You've spent a lot of
but-
time away from Zane.
What I was saying was, by gallivanting, I don't mean you're going out and partying. I mean, when you're stuck at home with a baby and that's like the only person you see all day, any interaction with other adults would be considered a party and gallivanting.
Well,
No, trust
Party.
me. I've been there. It's like...
No, that's true. My wife
You're-
stayed home with the little one, and she would tell you the same thing. I mean, by
Cool.
the end of the day, she would be talking to the walls, just to talk
well,
to
and
somebody.
I lived somewhere where I didn't have family or anything. And so, I was, I would just go shopping and spend money just to be around other people.
You guys are real. You guys are really selling motherhood for me. Thanks, guys. I'm gonna go get my tubes tied now.
hey, you can catch us every day, every work day, that is. Mix 107.5, the Mix Morning Show. That's Kelsey, Amber, and I. And then you got Duffy Moon in the afternoons. He stops by the morning show every now and again.
Yeah, only when you'll
so-
let me.
Yeah.
Heymix.com, just stream it.
Absolutely. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you.